welcome back to Plate Stack Chat. My name's Sam, and as ever, we have Jason Croxon back again. But we have two big hitters in the game of CrossFit affiliate world. I love the fact that this is now on video as well. If you want to watch it on video, go on Spotify or YouTube. But these guys are great. We have Ian Barber and Gavin Heselton from the one and only CrossFit Glasgow. How we doing, fellas? We all right?
Good, good.
All good, no complaints.
Not yet. Jason, how are you?
Yeah, I was a bit worried when you said we've got Jason and then we've got some big hitters, and I was thinking, all right, apparently not a big hitter. Then you specified the affiliate world, so I kind of felt better about that because I'm not in that, so that's fine. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster already, and we're about a minute in, but apart from that, I'm pretty good.
Well, this episode, as you guys all know, is very much close to my heart. It is all about the CrossFit Open. You guys at CrossFit Glasgow had many people do the Open, so we're going to kind of get into maybe a bit about what the Open is, if someone who's listening to this has never heard about it before, why the people should do it, and then hopefully kind of pick your brains as to how you get so many people in your affiliate to join in. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
Something we know.
Something you can talk about. So yeah, the Open. I've done the Open for, well, I'll tell you what, that's a good question. How many years have you done the Open for? I've actually done the Open and paid for it for 2 years.
Nice.
Although I've been doing, I have only had 3 years that I could have possibly done it. So it's pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
How come you didn't do it in your first year?
It actually was, when did I not pay for it? Why didn't I do it in my first year? I don't remember why I didn't do it. I think I just didn't have any money. It's quite the obvious. It's the obvious.
I mean, you
there.
just started paying for CrossFit, so obviously you didn't have any money left to pay for the Open.
Let's not talk to these guys about.
You hadn't quite worked out your budget at this point.
Yeah.
It's like £10. That's one of our things we talk to the members about.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, that's why I didn't do it the first year. And it didn't seem like a big deal. How about you guys?
Done it since 2011.
Yeah,
I
same.
think it was.
So 10 years.
Since it started.
Wow.
I think this Open 12 because we had 2 in 1 year.
Yeah, so I was I think I did 2018, 19, and then I didn't do 20 because that was the one that came kind of very close after the one we'd just done. And I think Rochelle was quite heavily pregnant at the time, so it just wasn't an ideal time. So I skipped that one, and then I did the following year. So now the numbers are a bit, but are they back on track? I guess they're back on track now.
Yeah, I think so. The first ever one.
22.1.
Yeah, the first ever one was 6 weeks.
That's
It
too
was
long.
Crazy long. Yeah.
No, I'm really happy with the shift to 3 weeks. And I say happy with the shift to 3 weeks in the knowledge that I know my Open will end in 3 weeks. That is the end of the road for me. But I used to find with 5 weeks, like you just go so much harder in the workout that it basically ruins 5 weeks of training because you're just sort of spending the next week recovering from the Friday night before and trying to kind of be ready for the next Open workout. So I think 3 weeks is for your average Joe, it's a lot more accommodating.
Yeah, even for engagement and interest levels as well. Like we used to find that after 3 weeks, it was a real struggle to keep the community like fully involved in the Open, especially when you've had that inevitable event, which begins with like ring muscle ups or something.
I tell you what, actually, I've just remembered why I didn't do the Open. I was actually very seriously ill. I just finished. I just started doing. I'm actually doing it at the moment. I'm doing Red January, which is Run Every Day January. But I didn't start at the beginning of January, that thing. So I'm actually. I made up like a new one called Ted Feb, which is Train Every Day February. So I trained every day, and ended up having blood clots in my lungs. So I was actually quite ill,
Oh.
which is why I didn't do the Open. But I did DJ at the Open for our gym, like on the Friday night, which was cool.
Nice.
But yeah, that was.
Aren't you doing like burpees every day this year?
I am doing burpees every day. Yes, I am. What day? Well, yeah, the maths of it. I can't work out when this will go out, so I will have done some amount by the time this goes out. Probably about 2,000.
5.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I've currently on the day filming have done 600 this month because we are on the 12th and there's 50 a day, so it's very simple maths.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm becoming very proficient at burpees. Ready for the Open. I'm sure they'll be in there.
Show us.
What, right now, on camera or off camera? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've got an available space.
He refused to do burpees on camera the other day. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if it's
I would.
your friendship that pushes him over the edge.
It's not that. It's having done 600 burpees in the last 12 days. Actually, I've become quite proficient at doing burpees, so I can string them together all right now. For day one, I was like, 5 in a row is max. Now I'm stringing like 15, 20 together. Dreaming.
Your
But-
game's ready.
That's it,
Elite.
basically. It was actually warm up for Wadapalooza, but I didn't get the call from any of the, the dropout from sort of elite trios.
There's still time. Names are
That's
still
it.
dropping.
I was hoping either Noah, Chandler, or Travis was going to drop out, but they're not yet. Sad.
That's when you'll step up.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm letting the team down. But anyway, going back to the Open. So you guys have done it for a fair while.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should talk about what the Open is. How do you guys sell it to your? What do you sell it as at your box? The one and only
It's-
CrossFit Glasgow.
There's different things to different people, and I think you can't just sell it as a competition. Like you alluded to earlier, not everybody's interested in the competitive side of CrossFit, and for 99% of people, they're never going to go to the games. So selling it as this test of the fittest on the planet is it's a good advert for the documentaries, but it's not really going to invest the people within your community. I think we have a big following of the Open and a big registration rate for the Open because we personally, Ian and I individually, we feel that it's worthwhile, and that's for any number of reasons. Like for one, it's showing global support for the brand, and we think that as affiliates and being ambassadors for the affiliate community, I think that it's important that we're the people that lead from the front. And I'm always surprised that other affiliates don't feel the same way. And I think maybe they don't recognize that, in some cases, there'll be affiliate owners that are competitive in their own right, and they don't want to waste their community's time by trying to push them into a competition in which they can never succeed, entirely missing the point that the Open pays for the games, and the global registrations pay for the games. And by having an opportunity to share that experience with your community, you really buy them into your own journey. But that's just one angle of a really multifaceted reason for doing the CrossFit Games Open.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, because I think there are people that if you ask them what the Open is, they'll say, "Oh, it's a competition. It's there's a leaderboard. It's a competition, right?" But I've been called out in the past for saying, "Oh, I never compete." So I'm like, oh, I never compete because I haven't gone to any competitions. And when I said that, your good friend Ollie said to me, well, you've done the Open. And I was like, that doesn't count. And the reason it doesn't count is because I don't do the Open as a competition. I do it for all of that kind of, just to be involved, to be part of the community, to kind of know that we all did that same workout that same week, and we all can complain about it next week, because we all know that rowing and wall balls was a really stupid idea for a workout, especially when you're 5'6". So, it's nice to have that kind of unified, like it's exact same thing we talk about in the box, right? It's like that unified suffering. We all did the same workout. Yeah, we scaled it and we did different weights or slightly different movement standards, whatever, depending on our ability, but we all suffered for the same 20 minutes on that AMRAP. And I think the Open is just like that, but then expanded globally. So we all did exactly the same workout, exactly the same time, and within a few days of each other. And then, even now we can talk about like, oh, 2019, oh, do you remember that workout? Oh, terrible. And that just allows you to go from box to box or place to place and to be a part of that community. But that's got nothing to do with competition in my view, the way I look at it.
Unless
Yeah.
of course one of you came 76,000th and the other one came 60,000th, and then that might be an issue
Oh.
for you, mightn't it, Gavin? Ian? We should put a poll on Instagram. Who do we think came 76,000? Who do we think came 60,000?
Which year?
2021, the last year.
Yeah, I lost this one.
Have you got some sort of excuse, or? I'll believe
No.
whatever you say.
No.
My cat ran away. Yep, that'll do.
What you need to understand is, we've told Sam this before, Jason, but Gavin and I are like the founding fathers of the FLRC, which is known as the Fat Lads Rhabdo Club. And we specialize in mediocre fitness.
Oh, I need to make a move.
Yeah.
So I've got a secret games strategy, an open strategy, where I know in week 3 it's going to be complex gymnastics, and Ian's got a game shoulder.
All right. So it's just holding out to that point, really.
Yeah, and because of the pandemic, I didn't get to take full advantage of.
Oh, in 2021, of course, because there wasn't any.
It's true. It's all true. Yeah, but yeah, like you guys were saying, is like, to us it's so much more than a competition, right? It's like the competitive side, I think, is great, because I genuinely do think that all of your members, whether they're competitive or not, should be held accountable and get some unapologetic feedback from the event itself. I mean, I think all of us have been there, stuck under the rig, getting a single toes to bar and doing that daft little swing and getting another one and thinking, fuck this, never again am I getting stuck like this. And it motivates you for the next year, or it could be double unders or any other movement. But
burpees.
Yeah, burpees. And, it's that, learning through that failure is a big part of it. But then also it's, for me personally, it's the inspiration of the efforts people put in. Like, it doesn't matter who it is, just seeing someone go super hard just makes you like feel really inspired, and just makes you feel like you want to take part. It's just no different to at Inferno or any other CrossFit event. It's like you watch people doing a workout and you just want to do it as well. And I think that goes a really long way with the community too. That energy really carries over to everyone in the gym.
Yeah, it was like Jace was saying, it's this like global unified experience. And Ian and I can be in a workout heat, and we've got some incredible athletes in our gym, guys that will go to quarterfinals or potentially beyond. And we'll be stood next to them, and we'll be stood next to some guy who just started last week that we managed to get in a headlock and bully him into joining the Open. And at the end, we're all smashed, we're all sizzling like bacon, and it's this common experience that we'll always have.
Yeah, I find on a personal level, because it's funny, isn't it? It's like it's this global thing, this massive thing that encompasses the whole CrossFit community, but then it also becomes a very personal. And I think, like as you were saying about like kind of being stood under the rig, trying to get that one rep of a new movement, maybe, or or just trying to kind of grind through something. Like I remember, yeah, I think it was, guess it was it 18.1 maybe, that had like dumbbell clean and jerks, I think, as part of it. It's like clean and jerks and toes to bar and rowing. I think that was it. I'd never used a 22.5 kilo dumbbell before that. I mean, when I started CrossFit, I weighed about 62 kilos. So 22.5 was a big, heavy dumbbell. Now it's still a really ridiculously heavy dumbbell that I don't like to use. And we've started doing open prep in the WODs. It's like every Friday we're kind of like dusting off an old one. And I was speaking to Craig, actually, who was coaching on Friday, and it was like, okay, this is, approach this like it's an open workout. I said, well, if it was an open workout, I'd go RX then really slow. So is that what you want me to do, or should I be going with a lighter dumbbell? But I think it is training for yourself, especially, I don't know, when you're, I mean, I'm not old, but when you're a bit older and you've kind of got to think, well, I need to make sure I can go to work tomorrow, and I've got to be able to pick up my kids and do all of that. You're not, when you're training just for your health, you're not pushing it to that limit every single time. So it's rare to really see the necessity of going RX. You can be like, that's not the stimulus I need tonight. And for me, the open is that time where it's always like that. You've got one of two options, and you're going to have to go for the, 1 rep RX is more than a whole workout scaled. Remember that, everybody. So
Tactical.
So it's always forcing me to kind of do a weight I wasn't super comfortable with, or a movement that I'm kind of avoid because maybe I don't see the necessity of. And so it's like this dual thing of, yeah, global, great, wonderful, but also very personal. And then what's great is then you're like, oh, actually I could move that dumbbell. So when it does show up in a WOD later, you're like, oh yeah, actually, oh, and maybe I won't go 22.5, maybe I'll go 20, but before I was using a 15. It's that kind of getting out of your comfort zone and then realizing, oh, it's not actually that bad over here. It's not that bad, it's terrible. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah. I think that's the other big reason why people should do it, and it's an annual snapshot of whether or not you've been sticking in it training. And part of that is contextualizing intensity. And if you're routinely shying away from, the heavier kettlebell or heavier dumbbell, or even just holding back because you, like you say, you don't see the necessity, that's a part of the methodology that should be there, and it should be there in every session.
Yeah,
That's
I think,
go on.
and that's some of the chat that we'll give our members as well. But even like messages to box owners too is like, it's just an event for free, so to speak. Everyone takes part, and every single weekend for 3 weeks, or back in the day up to 6 weeks, you had an event on in your gym, right? And it was entirely yours to make as big a party as you want it to be. And that's what we did. And it was also really cool back in the day because, and hopefully they bring this back, but on the leaderboard before the first workout came out, it used to show your stats and rank you by how many people you have signed up to the open. So this little gym in Glasgow, when CrossFit's only really popular in America, is was all of a sudden in the top 10 leaderboard. And yeah, it was like contending with CrossFit NYC and stuff like that. And it was just really cool to see that. And anybody can do it, anybody with a community, anybody with 100+ members or less, it doesn't matter. Just, I think at one point in our best year, we had 98% people who were members of our gym sign up to the open.
That's really good. I know that Bath were chasing you last year. I remember they kept posting up like the top 5 in the UK, and it was like, oh, we're still there and we can see them. And then it was just it got to the point where we'd really exhausted everyone that was going to join, and we're like, there's no way at this point. But I mean, I know in Bath that we were already getting messages dropped in the Facebook group, and the message and that started like December probably, that people were talking about it.
Oh,
And I went in like up until a few, well, I was recording this maybe a few weeks ago. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be like an incredible open, because last year we were in lockdown. So I think I did one workout like in front of some, I don't know, some weird building that had like a field there. And we were like, oh, we can put a mat down and we can do wall walks against this building, and trying to do double unders on this mat to not ruin the rope. And it was so windy that the wind just kept taking the mat away. And then another one in a park, and then one outside somebody's house because they had a pull-up bar in their garden. So we're like doing it, and then you'd run into their garden to use the rig,
Yeah.
and then run back
That's so
outside
cool.
for the barbell. So it was like, so we'd all done this, and it had been, we were all kind of sharing these stories throughout the year. And the idea that, oh, we're going to actually get to do an open in the gym with all the correct equipment, no, not like trying to grab plates from somebody else's house because you need enough to make up the weight kind of thing. Like, yeah, it will all be there, ready, nice equipment, and no worries about what's going to come out the night before kind of thing. And I thought, oh, surely everyone's going to feel that way, and that's going to be like a not necessarily global, but at least within the UK we're all going to feel this way. Dave Castro getting fired just before the open really soured that, because now there's a lot of people moaning about that. And I think, oh, if that hadn't happened, how like everyone would surely have been on board with this open. This would have been like, oh, the return of the open. Oh, wonderful. So let's see. I'm intrigued.
It would be a huge disservice to Dave not to do the workouts that he programmed, and it would be an even bigger disservice to your community if you didn't participate.
Yeah, I guess when we go back to like how we first were talking about our view of the open, and kind of the everyman's view of the open versus maybe someone who's like, I wonder if that's what really balances it out, is that anyone who's got the aspiration of going to the games, or even just a semi-final, for example, like they're going to have to do the open. They're going to have to pay to do the open, because if you want to get there, this is the only way. So you've got no choice. You might resent it, but you've got to do it. And then on the other side, anybody who's like, well, I just view the open as one big community event where I get to do the same workout as my friends at the gym, and it's really nice. They're the people that if you went in and said, Dave Castro has been fired, and they would go, oh, does he work here? Like, they have no idea who this guy is. So
yeah,
it's it probably won't matter in the grand schemes of things, unless you've got an affiliate owner that has a real kind of passion about this and is very upset and offended. Those that are like asking the question, oh, should we de-affiliate? They're the ones that could obviously affect their membership, right? They're people that go to their affiliate. But I think generally speaking, it's not gonna make a big difference. No. At least, and less so, I would say even less so here in the UK, I would think. Yeah, but we're a global podcast. Too. We've got listeners all around the world. So
yeah, I think there's also a side of it where I think for people who've been around a little bit longer, CrossFit's been going since 2000, 2001. The guy's done a shift, right? He's spent 20 years in the game, really. And everything comes to an end eventually, and change is inevitable. And I think that's kind of a changing of the guard, is, a stark reminder to those that have been around a long time that, our time's coming too. And, we have to step up and make the most of it now.
Is that you kind of coming out, and is that your exclamation of retirement or something there, mate? Is that what it is?
Well, I won last year against Gavin, so I might just have to call it there.
Quit while you're ahead, right? Yeah. I actually came 92,826. 2 places above a guy called Gary Dick, who is also from Great Britain. Hi, Gary Dick, if you're listening. Big shout out to you, my man. Age 30. I mean, he only did one of the 4 workouts, but whatever. I beat him.
Smashed them.
Yeah, crushed him.
Seeing as you brought this up, so I came 77,467th.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Ian, you're the best of the 4.
No, what did you come?
Ian came 60,000 something.
Yeah.
Well, if it is the real Ian Barber, because his name on the CrossFit website is spelled very different to the one on this podcast, but that's just how English people spell Ian.
60,000 in the UK, right?
No.
In Glasgow.
So you came 60,000th on this podcast.
That would be more right, I think.
My UK leaderboard's not open out.
Mate, with a top finish in the final workout of 42,538th. There you go.
Well, I'll tell you what, that actually saying about the UK leaderboard, that makes you feel a lot better. Him 2,823rd. That sounds much better than 77,000.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Okay. Fun detour. And that's the kind of fun you can have if you've done the Open.
You can go back and you can go
the,
back. I could go back years. Let's go back. Oh, mate, let's go back to 2011.
Well, I didn't do
Ian
2011.
come in 2011. I can't. Okay, I can't look that up. Actually. Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
The problem is that these are enormous jumps, but as we've already said, like 2021, half the people couldn't do the proper Open because they just didn't have access to equipment. So my jump from 111,585th to 77,000 something sounds really impressive, but it has nothing to do with my level of fitness. In fact, I was probably less fit during that one because we'd been locked down for so long. But there you are. That's the fun of the Open, right? You can go back, you can look at where you were, where you are now. You can apply many filters to the leaderboard. That always boosts you up a little bit. I'll be 35 going into the Open this time, so I can tick that little Masters one as well. The worst Masters category because the weights stay the same, but and
you're just a little bit older.
Yeah, you just
move
them a bit slower.
Well, I want to pick your brains now, boys, about. And this is for, I guess this kind of section would be for either affiliate owners or people who want to kind of hassle their affiliate owners to get more people involved in the Open. I'm one of those people. I've already spoke to our box owner about how we're going to sort of strategize it, because what's coming next is actually, I've already had a little preview of this while sat. Where were we? Where even were we? Were we in Cardiff? Yes, we were sat drunk in a bar in Cardiff talking about the Open. You won't even remember it, Ian. We were sat here. Was it O'Neill's?
We were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't sound like us.
Are you drinking? No. Was it? It was O'Neill's. It was me, you. Me, you, Gav, and Craig. And we nearly didn't get let in because they said it was like midnight, wasn't it, or something? And we basically went.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you all look too young.
You kick it? No, he said you. It was like almost kicking out time. He was like, "Oh no, we're not letting anyone in now, mate." And we went, "Oh man, come on, we've just come from work. We just finished setting up Inferno Pairs." We're like, "Oh man, we literally just finished work." And he like quizzed us. What have you been doing? Oh well, we've been at this event setting up like all of the stuff for all these athletes to come tomorrow. He was like, "Oh, you can come in, lads." I was like, "Oh, cheers." Even with him wearing trainers.
Yeah.
And trackers.
Shorts. Yeah,
Shorts,
something like
that was
that.
it. But yeah, anyway, this is where I had the preview. This is why they're on the podcast, really, because I want to get everyone doing the Open. So, boys, tell us, how do you do it from start to finish? A playbook of how you get your guys to do the Open.
Oh, you make it sound organized.
I know you just bully them, but how do you do it?
Yeah. So life is obviously made a bit easier for us because we have like legacy involvement. So the people that we convinced 10 years ago are still invested. You know, they've done it for all that time, and you know, it's an expectation that they'll do the open again. It is fun. Like, affiliate owners need to realize that it should be fun for everybody. Like, it's a good time. It depends how you do it. Like, we do it as a long weekend, so we'll do like run throughs on Friday, and then people that can't make Friday will do Saturday, and then inevitably you've got the people that repeat Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And you know, like, because we've got such big numbers, we need to dedicate a lot of time to it to get everybody through. But that adds to the atmosphere, like having, you know, 20 to 30 people on the floor doing the workout, and then 20 to 30 people having either just finished it or just waiting to go, makes the place amazing. Like, it's so loud, and you get these big groups of people will stand around and supportively heckle. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just start off with just hassling people, really, just telling them that the open's begun, sign-up's begun. We sign up ourselves first and foremost, and you know, just show people the website, just plug all the links, hit Facebook an awful lot, stuff like that. Then we'll start to maybe try and organize some Friday Night Lights events. So, you know, one which is going to get the community involved is definitely going to be Ian versus Gavin, which is usually an inevitable one. You know, we're really scraping the barrel here as everyone watches us time cap a workout. We just pray for an MRAP every time. Yeah, and and then as it starts to get closer to the time, a lot of people will hold back their signups just to annoy us, mostly because we're annoying them. And that's when good old bullying comes into play. You know, the great British way of just calling people out, keeping lists, and just having fun, really good-natured fun with everybody. Classic line being things like, you know, "Oh, Gavin, your internet broken." Like, well, you've not signed up to the open, so I can only assume your internet doesn't work. But good news is our internet's on right now, so.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So in your gym, right? So you've signed up, you've got all of your sign-ups. So what makes yours real good? Because you were talking about like some strategy and leaderboard and gym leaderboard and how that works, even if you're not like the best athlete. Because I was like, oh, I'm not up for that. I don't want to be on my gym leaderboard because I'll be somewhere like near the bottom. But you guys have come up with like a cool way of making leaderboards fun.
So in previous years, like, this is what kind of inspired the Affiliate Cup, and well, not the Affiliate Cup, the Glasgow Classic, and you know, the what am I trying to say here? Which competition is it? The in-house one.
So if it wasn't the Affiliate Cup, it was.
We had a name.
There was a competition
very
one
good
time.
One.
Yeah.
Think of the best name you can imagine.
Was it just a
what was
team
that?
classic?
Might have just been the Team Classic, but
Classic, yeah.
The idea came from the Team Classic, where we basically chose three. We did a popularity poll between the coaches, and the top three then became team leaders. And then from there, everybody who signs up gets like their name on a card, and the card goes up on the wall, and you do a little live show, and they all go up and take a card off the wall, and they turn it around and say who's in their team. And from there, everybody gets allocated into 3 different teams, and every time you do the open each week, you get a point for your team. So it kind of incentivizes people to, just by taking part, you're scoring points for your team. And then, as we started to develop that into its own competition, obviously people who finish in the top 10 get a couple more points and stuff like that. But really what it came down to was just, if you have a large community involved, those participation points really add up fast and they start to matter more.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if Ollie stole it from you, because I know he's notorious for going to other gyms and just bringing back any good ideas that he sees. He said as much on our podcast, so that's fine. But we did very similar things, with like dividing the gyms up into teams, and then like anyone that was signed up to so I think everyone in the gym got assigned to a team by default. And then it was like, and if you sign up and if you actually sign up for the Open, you'll get this many points. And so that was already going to put your team ahead. So you're already in the team. So it's whether or not you're going to get the many points. And then there were even things linked to like the events that were going on around the Open that gave people the chance to get points for their team. So even if they weren't the fittest, there were like, I think they did like a bake-off thing, and people baked stuff and brought it along, and there were like points assigned for that.
Now that is something I could get behind.
Yeah. There used to be a section on the leaderboard, this is going back years, which was who'd judged the most athletes and during the Open. And Gavin and I were just like proper at it, hammers and tongs, like, judged 300, 400 athletes during the Open.
It's when they start getting out a calculator and kind of working out whether or not it was physically possible for you to judge that many athletes in 4 days.
How many athletes can you judge at once, though?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, we used to stand on the gym floor from like 5 a.m. until 9:30 at night on a Friday, and then you would get up again on Saturday morning, start at 6, finish it like after midday. Do the same on Sunday, and then Monday you're back to the 5 a.m. shot till 9:30 at night, and then at 9:30 at night you get, at the time it was like, get on the bus and you sit with your phone and you post in the members group, like, get your scores in, because if you don't, then you've done all that for nothing.
And then you would have until midnight to like approve all the scores and check all the scorecards. Back in the day, they didn't close it for a few days, so you just had to get it all done.
Yeah, like it's like proper graft. Still is,
but fun, right? But fun. Make sure.
Fun.
Yeah.
It is so worthwhile.
No. This is good publicity, because if you really want to cheese your box owner off, you need to sign up for the Open and make sure you submit your score, because then they have to approve it. And the more people that they have to approve, the more annoyed they'll be.
Yeah. And if when you're signing up for the Open, you can't remember the name of your affiliate, just write CrossFit Glasgow. And just...
And if you write Ian Barber as your judge, then I'll beat Gavin. So that's going to be good as well.
Yeah. Yeah, living the dream. Well, I'm stoked
Don't
about
do
that, fellas. Thank you so much for giving us an insight into your Open strategy. I know I've obviously had it, but that was a non-drunken version where I wasn't sat next to a speaker having to scream. That's the reason I lost my voice at Inferno Pairs. We haven't told anyone that yet, but that's actually the reason that I lost my voice, because we did that on the Friday night, and then I had no voice Saturday or Sunday.
Should I say unprofessional, Sam? I don't know.
Unprofessional. I'm surprised Ollie wasn't with us, to be fair.
You can't hack it.
No. Mr. Mansbridge came up and asked me the next day if that was us when your voice was gone, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, were you out last night? I was like, no.
Well, we did. I wasn't. Oh, actually, I'm not even going to talk about it, because Craig will just post the message that I put to him in the evening, which was something along like, the room's spinning. Should the room be spinning? When I got back. But yeah, I was good for the next 2 days. I was perfect. Just didn't have any voice on the Sunday. That was also down to Percy No Mercy turning the music up. But I'll let her off for that. But that's cool. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for sticking around with us for this episode of Plate Stack Chat. We're going to hopefully have you again for next week's episode. Are you fancy coming back on for next week? In the same clothes, in the same room?
The same room.
Yeah,
Same
perfect.
room.
Thanks very much.
Cannot wait. Let's do it.
Go on, Jace, hit us up.
Well, I don't know. You paused. I didn't know if you were gonna.
You got. I'm sure you have a member shout out. A member
Oh,
shout out. That's on
not
the
a
other
member shout.
podcast. On the.
Yeah, I've got some lists. I've got a nice list forming now of shout outs to do. So if this isn't you and you're still waiting, you've interacted with us in any way at all, it's coming. It's coming down the line. So just keep listening to every episode. That's how we get them.
Oh yeah.
I would shout out today to Sophie, who most will know from Massage RX. So if you've been to like Sid or different events, she's usually there, and also has done some great work for me, which is brilliant because I always say if it's good enough for Rich Froning, it's good enough for me. But Sophie was messaging me with some potential guests that she thought would be good on the podcast and topics. So a big shout out to Sophie and all the hard work she's doing. And if you're at a comp, in the UK, obviously, look out for Massage RX. They're usually there doing some great work on the athletes. So that's who gets the shout out today.
Excellent.
And Sam, I feel like we should address the fact that Tom's not here.
Well, I didn't want to say why he's not here because, well, I'll let you do it. I know that Tom is not here. I didn't want to.
Well,
I didn't want to bring it up. Okay.
I'm not going to give any details then. But Tom on the last episode said he was imminently expecting to be a dad. He's now officially a dad. We'll let him fill you in on everything else, but we will say a big congratulations to Tom and his wife, of course, and the baby, like to everyone. But we'll let him fill us all in when he comes back. But that's why he's not here. So it's not that he's sick of us. He's happy. He's happy at home. There we go.
Love it. Well, yeah. So yeah, if you want to go and check out, I'm sure that'll be on Chalk and Fitness at some point soon. I've seen a picture of the baby and she is mega cute. To the point where I showed my wife and she was like, "Should we?" I was like, "Absolutely not." Absolutely not. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys. If you want to catch myself, well, they're all on the screen. If you're watching the podcast, I'm at La Roche Original, Jason at Jason CF Media. Gav and Ian both live in the Stone Age, so they don't have Instagram, but CrossFit Glasgow do, and apparently Gav looks after it, so that is at CrossFit Glasgow. You've got various, haven't you? CrossFit Glasgow Kids, CrossFit Glasgow Teens, CrossFit Glasgow Spartans. Just search them up. They've got all sorts of cool stuff. All the cool stuff.
A little preview for next week, but I mean, if you're paying for the name, you might as well get your money's worth, right?
Well, thanks very much, guys, and we will see you soon on the next episode of Plate Stack Chat.